Welcome to Tales from the Fandom, a podcast that brings a special guest out of the multiverse and straight to you. And now your host, David Ginsburg.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Tales from the Fandom. I am glad to have you here for this latest episode with Sam of Dovah Design. We are wrapping up October, and November is just around the corner, and we've got a lot of great episodes for the November month. November 6th is Stephen Pappas. He is the co-host of the Is This Adulting podcast, as well as the Meddling Kids podcast. November 13th is with Ross from the Dice for Brains podcast. That's a Star Wars actual play podcast. I got to meet him at Star Wars Celebration this year, and that was pretty cool. Jaquel Overstreet returns once again for Book Trek on the 15th as we talk about Kevin Hearn's third book in the Iron Druid Chronicles, Hammered. So definitely make sure you're reading along with us. If not, we have gone through the first two books already, as well as a short novella, and you can definitely take a look at those and just download those episodes at your convenience and download this one when it comes out, and maybe you'll be caught up, and it would be wonderful to have you in our Book Trek series as we go through the Iron Druid Chronicles. November 20th is with Brianna DeCoster, also known as Utahime Cosplay. She does a wonderful Princess Kida from Disney's Atlantis movie, as well as an awesome Korra from The Legend of Korra. She's a great cosplayer, and it was a really fun time talking with her. And then on the 27th of November, we go to England to talk to Joseph Sale, who is an author, and he has been already on the podcast earlier for a short piece talking about The Hobbit for its 80th anniversary. So we've got a lot of great episodes coming up, and I am super psyched for you to hear them. November is also the big month of me recording episodes for the future, so every Thursday and Sunday I am at least recording one episode on each of those days. Sometimes I do get to double up and do 2 or 3 episodes a day. So I'm really psyched and happy with the guests that have agreed to come on, and I'm looking forward to getting those episodes out to you in the future. If you want to know who I'm recording with, make sure to go to either the Patreon site or our Facebook page, as I do update there with who I've recorded with and some of the topics of conversation. With their Patreon site, if you do decide to donate to help support the podcast, you do get some different things like episodes ahead of time. There's stickers and magnets and t-shirts that I can send you. So if you're interested, that's cool. If not, definitely hit me up on the Facebook page, give it a like. And one of the things I love is emails. So if you'd like to email me, just email me at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com. And just tell me what you like, what you don't like. I'd love any kind of feedback. And it is a pleasure doing this podcast for everyone that is listening. So thank you. Again, as always, I love to support other podcasts. So up next is a promo or two for different podcasts that I'm listening to and enjoy. And then after that is the episode with Sam of Dovah Design. So I hope you're having a great day or night whenever you're listening to this and wherever you're listening to this. Thank you so much for listening and supporting us here at Tales from the Fandom.
In the shadowed recesses of our world, monsters lurk. Beasts from a bygone era, obscured by the thickest forests, deepest oceans, and darkest corners. Despite our reluctance to find them, and unlucky few cross paths, it's these experiences that we explore at Monsters Among Us podcast. My name is Derek Hayes, your faithful host and guide. Each week I explore calls from around the world detailing chilling encounters with mystery beasts, ghosts, UFOs, and a plethora of other strange happenings. You can find Monsters Among Us podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and most other podcatchers. Beware, there truly are monsters among us.
And welcome to another episode of Tales from the Fandom. Today I'm joined by Sam of Dovah Design. She is a cosplayer, and she's into a bunch of different fandoms, so welcome to the show, Sam.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I think I found you because I believe you were one of the winners at the MegaCon convention cosplay contest. Is that correct?
I was, yeah. I won Best in Show for my Diablo 3 Crusader this year at MegaCon.
Very cool. And you traveled to the con, right? You're not in the Orlando area, right?
I'm actually just south of Orlando in Davenport, and I work downtown Orlando.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so you live a lot closer than I thought. I don't know why I thought you didn't live around here, but...
Surprise!
Surprise! Surprise is on the podcast. Well, that is awesome. So what fandoms are you into besides cosplaying, of course?
So I'm super into Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls in general. It's probably my favorite video game. I don't know, Diablo 3 is a close second, but so video games, I also play Magic the Gathering a lot with a bunch of my friends. And Harry Potter. Actually, I listened to your Harry Potter special, and I want to go ahead and get this out of the way and let you know that I am a Slytherin, in fact.
You're my second Slytherin!
Hooray! I'm the second!
Oh my gosh. That was a big thing for whenever I have the people that come on, we always talk about which houses they are, and I've only had one Slytherin, which is shocking.
I was hoping I'd make it for the second. I was hoping you didn't, interview anybody right before me.
No, you are officially the second Slytherin.
Yes, Sam the Slytherin.
Sam the Slytherin. Well, I guess let's talk quickly about Harry Potter. Is that something that you grew up with as a kid, or did you get into it later on in life?
Yeah, so I grew up with it as a kid. It's all slightly a blur, like that kid memory. Like, when did I read the first book? I don't remember, but I definitely went to a couple of the like Barnes & Noble pre-release things, and played Harry Potter in the schoolyard elementary school. So I want to say it was like second grade. I was about 7, I think, when they came out.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely grew up with it, and it was super exciting, like, as they started to release more things, like the movies, and then at Universal, and, being in Orlando, it's fantastic just having that right around the corner and, like, seeing it as you're driving down I-4.
Right. Yeah. My wife and we got passes for our anniversary, and that's the only place that we went to at Universal. We did not, we did not go beyond, like on the Universal side, we only went to Diagon Alley. In Islands of Adventure, you have to walk through Seuss Land to get to Hogwarts or Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
And that was it. We spent probably 5 hours just between the two sides of the Harry Potter area.
I mean, yeah, they pack it so full of stuff. You don't really have to go anywhere else. So I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, it is wonderful. It's just such incredibly, for those of you who haven't been there, it's so well done and immersive. It's great.
It is. It's great. They have like the wands that actually activate stuff around the different areas too that you can buy. So it's like you're, casting spells. It's fun.
Who's your favorite character?
I was actually thinking of this when I was listening to your Harry Potter anniversary special, and I want to say actually my favorite character is Dumbledore.
Okay.
So, I mean, just he's like kind of this character that, like, when I was reading the books younger, it was always like this, oh, you want to look up to him and oh, he's going to save the day. And, he just has it all figured out already. And he's also really mysterious. Like, you don't have it figured out, but he does all the time. And I don't know, he's just kind of like this guiding, like, mysterious guiding force that's always there in the background. And I just think he's a really great, well thought out character.
Yeah, he is incredible. I mean, nowadays you get all those like memes and stuff about how Dumbledore's the worst, and it always is interesting to me about how people relate to Dumbledore and Snape and a few of the other characters at this point. But yeah, Dumbledore, and obviously you're a Slytherin. Is there what qualities do you have as a Slytherin?
I have the ambitiousness of a Slytherin. I have the not gonna stop until I get it done and get it the way that I want, especially like with cosplay stuff. It's like this, it has to be perfect. I have to make it as perfect as possible. There's just like this need to always get it right and try to be the best. So I have that going for me.
Okay, cool. And do you have a favorite book or movie from the series?
I think my favorite, it's a toss-up for me between book 3 and 4. And I'll always pick the books over the movies. I mean, they're great, but it's not the same experience. So, I think either Azkaban or The Goblet of Fire. Can't really decide. I thought they were both, like, as you're reading them, just the stuff that you learn along the way, like the plot twists, if you will. They were just the most exciting out of all the books for me.
Yeah, I love Azkaban. I think part of it is because the lack of like Voldemort as far as him being a major influence, but it seems like for me it's like that turning point where things just start going in a whole different direction. You start learning a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you looking forward to the new Fantastic Beasts series of movies that will be coming out beyond what has come out?
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed Fantastic Beasts. I saw it like opening week, not like the day of or anything, but yeah, and I didn't realize it was going to be a whole series, and that's pretty exciting. Like, I'm excited to see what else they bring up. Like, obviously it left us on a bit of a cliffhanger, so yeah, I'm excited about them. I also like, to me, like, I know you had discussed in the Harry Potter, episode about whether or not, like, it was really, like, a good, like, spin-off. Like, I don't relate it to Harry Potter at all, is kind of what I want to say. Like, it's a totally new story that it was really easy to get into. Like, I didn't feel like it had to be, in England, or, had to be the same characters. So that, is really exciting for me.
I know, I obviously, like, you're talking about the Harry Potter episode, and so people who are new to the podcast, go back and check out the Harry Potter 20th anniversary episode, because it's got a lot of stuff.
It was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll make sure to let the other person know that people enjoyed it. It's always good to get feedback about episodes.
Oh yeah, no, I was super into it. It's great.
Let's see here. So you're a Harry Potter person. You're a Potter. I don't know what the nickname. A Potterite. A Potter. I don't know what the nicknames are.
I'm not sure either. Yeah.
The Potter fandom. A Potterhead. I don't know.
We'll go with Potterhead.
But one of your things is the reason that I found you in the first place, obviously, number one, I went to MegaCon, but I didn't get to see like the cosplay stuff because I was standing in lines for all the people that I wanted to meet, because this year they had a ton of people that I was really into. I was like, I'd love to go meet this person and get their picture. Oh, that person's here too. I'll go wait in that line as well. But I saw your picture posted on the MegaCon Facebook page and saw that it was based off of a video game, and it was an incredible design, number one.
Thank you.
And so you're into the Skyrim series, or the Elder Scrolls.
Yes, and so the costume for MegaCon was actually Diablo 3, but the Elder Scrolls...
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's totally cool. It was a Crusader from Diablo 3, which I'm also super into, but I don't know if you want to talk about Elder Scrolls. I'm always down to talk about Elder Scrolls, so... Well,
let's talk about Elder Scrolls first, because... Okay. I remember way back in the day of like, oh my gosh, I was probably in high school and like Daggerfall came out and I was like, ooh, this is so cool. Like I can make my own character.
Yeah.
And that was before like things really took off for like the Elder Scrolls franchise. And then here we are. And not only do they have like Skyrim and the whole video game franchise, but now there's like a MMO.
Yeah. Yeah, I play a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online, but I'm pretty new to that. But yeah, so I actually didn't get into the Elder Scrolls until... so my boyfriend played the Elder Scrolls all through, like, Morrowind, Oblivion, and everything, and I met him in college. And he's like, oh, I'm playing this game Morrowind. I was like, oh, that's cool, kind of brushed it off. But he was really excited when Skyrim was coming out, and I was like, oh, we don't have a gaming console. Like, I'm going to buy him an Xbox and get Skyrim or whatever. So I got him that for Christmas. And he's like, you'd probably really love this game. And I was like, nah, no, I don't want to play it. I would watch him play all the time. And it got to the point where, like, it was all of a sudden my Xbox and not his Xbox. So I was like, I have to play Skyrim. This is so fun. It was like every weekend from, 9 in the morning to 9 at night. This like, I need to be on the Xbox playing Skyrim. And I just completely was blown away just by... I don't know, like, being able to just, like, control your own character in, like, this crazy world where there's, like, warriors and, like, mages, and, oh my god, I love it so much. So, yeah, he's the whole reason I got sucked into it, and that's actually part of the reason I got into cosplay also, was I was like, these costumes are so cool, like, this armor, like, I want to be this badass warrior. And, yeah, it was just, like, happened all at once. But from there, I went back and played Oblivion and went back and played Morrowind, which honestly I'm still getting through. Like, I haven't actually finished the main quest of Morrowind yet, which is pretty sad. But, cosplay happened, so.
Cosplay happened.
Yep.
What drew you to the video games as far as the Elder Scroll series? Was it just the character designs, the plot, the story?
So specifically, I think what pulled me in was I've always loved dragons. Like when I was younger, I would always be the girl that drew dragons, or like read Harry Potter and drew dragons. And so, I bought Skyrim for Phil, and it's got the Imperial, emblem is like this dragon. He's like, oh, like this one's in Skyrim, and there's these dragons, and you fight them, and they're really cool, and they talk. And I'm like, what? That's really neat. So that's why I started playing it. But I think I just got immersed in it by like wanting to be that completionist that like does all the quests and like finds all the secrets, like trying to find all the locations and like clear the map out. Like it was this exploration portion of it, I think, is what's really like drawn me in and got me into it. And then what's kept me in too was also all of like the lore and stuff that you can find. Like I could just sit in Skyrim and read all of the books like, as my character in game. So there's just so much in it that I want to find it all,
Absolutely. Those games are massive as far as like story and just getting everything to do. I remember I had a friend, I think he had told me he put like 80 or 90 hours into not Skyrim, but it was the one before with Patrick Stewart, and I can't remember the name.
Yeah, Oblivion.
Oblivion. And it's like, dang, because I know like for me, like the first Elder Scroll game I played was Daggerfall, and that was way back in like the 90s, I believe. And then I haven't played any until Skyrim, and I've played it like maybe an hour or two, but not too much because it's hard to make time for video games at this point.
You've got some catching up to do.
Oh man, you have no idea the amount of like Steam games that I have, and it's just like, yeah, I bought it for like $5, and now it's still sitting there untouched.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I understand.
And you're not only Elder Scrolls, but obviously Diablo 3.
Yes, I played Diablo 3. I played a little Diablo 2, but again, it's one of those things where I got into it at 3 and then like went back to play 2. But yeah, so I always play a Crusader in Diablo 3 since they came out. I started with the Witch Doctor, and then when they released the expansion, which I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God, Reaper of Souls. I immediately was drawn to the Crusader. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like she was just this. I always play the female Crusader. I don't know. I'm weird about making male characters for some reason. It just like I know a lot of guys make girl characters, and I'm just like, I don't want to make a guy character. But yeah, I was just like drawn to like this like up in your face play style, and so the cosplay that I did from Diablo 3 is the Armor of a Khan, which is this like. It was like one of the like original legendary sets when they released Reaper of Souls. And it was the one that I thought was just like the most badass. It was like this big like black spiky demon hide armor. So I always just like transmog my character to that armor no matter what I'm wearing because I love it. And now that I've like made it, I'm just like, oh look, it's me. Yeah, I did it. So but yeah, I play seasonal on Diablo 3. And I just bought the Necromancer expansion, so I'm playing through the actual campaign really slow to like get the feel for the Necromancer currently. And yeah, I've probably at this point got more hours in Diablo than Skyrim, which is saying something for me, like thousands of hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
Now, what was it about Diablo 3 when it came out, or when you saw it and you're like, oh, I got to play this?
It was again it was actually like a slow ramp up for me. Like, again, my boyfriend was playing it, and I'd be playing Skyrim on the couch, he'd be playing Diablo behind me on the computer, and I'd like look back and be like, oh, what do you do? And he'd like slowly kind of show me like how to play the game, and he's like, you should get it, we can play together. So it was really this like come home from work and like sit down with my boyfriend and play Diablo 3. Like it was this, he could kind of teach me like what I was doing, and we could like kill things together. Like, I didn't feel like I was just, like, out on my own doing it. So that, just the whole, like, cooperative, like, mode was, I think, what really got me engaged in it. And then, yeah, just, like, the eventual, like, once you get to level 70 and you have this, like, crazy legendary armor and, like, all these cool abilities, like, blowing up demons. Like, I mean, how could you not enjoy that?
How could you not enjoy that? Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. I remember, man, I'm showing my age. Everybody knows I'm old because, like, whenever topics come up, I'm like, oh, I was in, like, college, or I was in high school. Like, I remember when the original Diablo came out, and It's like now Diablo 3's out, and it's been out for a while, but it's like, yeah, I'm totally old.
Nah, you're
Not
not old.
terrible.
You're not.
My mental like age is like 16 or 17. It's just that I have to do the adulting things of my age.
Oh yeah, no, I think we're all on that level. You know, we're gonna stay like, you know, young forever. It's fine. It's fine.
Yes, it is fine.
Yes.
So for Diablo 3, there's like it's definitely, I've heard, a challenge. There's at least I think there's a certain game mode, isn't there, where it's like you can't die, or if you die you start all over or something like that.
Yeah, so there's you can create a hardcore character. I have one hardcore character that isn't even at level 70 yet. I actually just like recently started because I was too intimidated to start like right off the bat, but yeah, if you die, that's it. So it's a character that you create that is completely separate from your non-hardcore characters. So like typically if you have, you know, 5 characters in Diablo, if you want to have like one of different classes or whatever, they all share like a common stash. And you share what's called Paragon levels. So once you hit level 70, you continue to level, and the Paragon levels past 70 are actually shared across all of your characters. So when you create a hardcore character, it starts you over from scratch. You don't have any of your equipment. You're level 0, like you're level 1, however they start you. And you have to actually get back to level 70, collect your own gear, you know, collect separate gems. It's completely different stash, get all of your skills back. And if you ever die, like that's it. It's like you can't go back to that character. You can't get your equipment back. Like it's done. Dead is dead.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I started a Crusader, of course, hardcore, and I want to say that I'm at like level 50. So I'm doing okay. There's also the seasonal characters, which start on a separate, like their own separate stash and everything again. And seasons actually, they have one like every couple months. Like I want to say they last about 3 months, and then there's like usually only a week in between. But right now we're in between seasons, unless it like just started and I'm missing it, which is very possible. Because they just released the Rise of the Necromancer expansion. So they're kind of giving it like a break so people can play the Necromancer, like get a feel for it before a seasonal starts up again.
Now, what's the seasonal? Because I'm not familiar with that. Is that like a competition or like a ranking system?
A little bit. I just play it because again, you start a character and it's separate from your normal characters. So it's a new start from level 1, get new equipment. Nothing is shared between your other characters, and you can actually, if you want, to like save a character slot, because I think you're allowed like 10 characters in Diablo 3. You can actually like what's called rebirth a character. So you can take one that you already have and quote unquote rebirth them, and all of the items that were on them go into your stash or into your like messages to like get rolled back into your normal non-seasonal characters stash. And so you start it again from scratch with no equipment. You have to level all the way up, but you actually have access to adventure mode right away. So you don't like have to play through the campaign. You can just like jump into like a really quick game mode with your friends, and like they can power level you like if they're already like a high level. But the point being, like, it's separate from your normal character, and there's a separate like stat system for people that do want to like compete on seasonal and like be the best crusader or like the best wizard or the best, you know, witch doctor, etc. I just do it because they actually have like chapter achievements for seasons. So it's basically like giving you new goals to try and reach every time that you like rebirth or start a new character for the season. So typically they're things like, you know, reach level 70 is like one of the chapter 1 achievements. And then it'll be like kill Diablo at, you know, Torment 1 or higher. Like, you know, and it kind of just progresses you through like all of these like chapter 1 through 4, and then like Champion, Slayer, I can't even think of the other ones, but they keep going and going through the season. And like if you get to a certain one, it's like you get an extra stash tab for free on your non-seasonal character, or you get like an extra pet, or you get a special transmog. So they just kind of give you like extra little like freebies for spending the time on the game and completing the chapters through the season.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's an incentive to keep playing the game even after you finish it.
Exactly. They know what they're doing. Thanks, Blizzard.
And then you had mentioned another game, Dark Souls, which the only reason I know about that game is from the funny YouTube videos that I see of people like pretending that they're like NPC characters.
There's a lot of trolls in Dark Souls, but they're funny.
It's just so amusing because I guess like in the game there's like a player versus player aspect to it, and it's just funny to watch like people just play as like they try to pass themselves off as NPCs, and then they just have everyone's running by them, running back and forth.
Yes,
and it's so amusing.
You actually there's this so Dark Souls is like an RPG and it's a single player, but you play online and you can be what's called invaded by other characters. Like other real players can invade your game, and I'm sure you've seen on those videos, they're usually like glowy or like red or white or yellow, depending on if they have like a certain allegiance to, I want to call it a guild, but I know that's not right. I'll think of the right word that they use. But yeah, so you can get invaded, and some people will like use this spell called Chameleon, and it actually like turns you into like an object that looks like it fits in with the world around you. You can like walk around, you're like a pot and just like kind of sliding around. I'm pretty sure there's also a way to like get rid of your like spectral appearance so you look like you're not an invader, or vice versa. You can like so basically when you're being invaded in Dark Souls, the goal for the invader is to kill you to get your souls. And you won't actually lose anything, but they will get the amount of souls that you were carrying, or like the amount of souls like dependent on your level. I'm not sure exactly how many. Mm-hmm. And so your goal as the player that's being invaded is to kill the invader before they can kill you. So it just becomes this crazy like fight to the death, like using all of your, they call it Estus, it's health potions, like before one of you gets killed. So it can get pretty crazy. It's like insane.
And what is it about that game that you like, or that drew you to it? Because I'm sensing a pattern here as far as like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls and Diablo 3 and now Dark Souls.
It's the same pattern. Boyfriend started playing. I was like, "Oh, what's that?" He's like, "This is Dark Souls. It's terrible. I'm dying." I'm like, "Let me try." So again, this was actually funny story. This was so he started playing Dark Souls because we heard it was like this notoriously hard game. He's like, I gotta try it. And so he starts playing it, and it was funny. He actually got through like the tutorial area and like a little bit of the first area of Dark Souls 1 and was like, I'm done. I can't. He stopped playing. And we kind of gave up on it for a couple of years, and then like Dark Souls 2 was out, and he's like, oh, the second game's out, like I should try it again. And I'm just like, okay, good luck. So he tries it again, and he actually starts again with 1 and starts to really get into it and get really good at it. And at the time, like I had just started doing my first cosplay in 2014, and so I would watch him play Dark Souls while I was making costumes. So I'd kind of see what he was doing and like watch where he would like make mistakes or like how he would do well. And then I picked it up, of course, because that's the pattern. And yeah, like from there, it's really just like a challenge to even get through the game is kind of why we play. It's like this, can you do it kind of thing. And for him, he's like far surpassed where I'm at. He's like, played through each of the games like several times. He has to make a different character and try a different build and, all of that. I'm like on my first character in every game, like halfway through, like stuck at some point. The game's just waiting for me to go back and kill me some more. But yeah, I feel like if I could toot my own horn as a Slytherin really quick, I think I do pretty good. Because I have a good trainer, if you will, to watch, and learn how to play and learn how to beat all the bosses. So
that's awesome. Is he playing anything new now while you have maybe haven't jumped in yet, but he's like, oh, look at this new game that I have?
Not right now. He's pretty much stuck on Dark Souls.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like replaying Dark Souls 3 a lot. I mean, like they released, I think the last expansion just came out like in March. And then before that there was an expansion in October, and then Dark Souls 3 had just come out last year, like in April or March. So he's still pretty into that. And he actually like has to like do all the things, if you will. Like we're both like completionists video game sense. So he's got to like run through the game the first time and get as much of the like items and like NPC lore as he can. And then like certain NPC quest lines will actually like cut off your ability to complete other quest lines. So he like does a new game plus. Basically, when you finish the game in Dark Souls, you start the game over, but you have all of your levels and you have all your gear, and it's called a new game plus. So he just starts again and goes through another different quest line that maybe was shut off the first time he played, and just continues that way. So I still get to watch him while I do cosplay stuff,
That's cool. I mean, I like the new game plus aspect, but man, shutting off storylines.
Yeah, and a lot of it is
kind of harsh.
It is, and it's these triggers that you don't necessarily even know are happening. Like you may like run right past like a hidden corridor that's got an NPC down it, and if you don't go down there and talk to him, like he's gonna die, and you're gonna find him in the next area. Like you're gonna find his corpse, and it's gonna have his armor on it, and you're like, well, so much for that. So yeah, a lot of it is, again, like discovery and like, trying to find all the hidden things, like trying to like collect lore off of items and really discover the world. I again, one of those patterns in the games that I like to play.
Yes. Lots of good video game stuff. Eventually I'll get back to Skyrim.
Oh, you need to.
It's so sad that I've only put like the 1 or 2 hours into it.
I think on the Xbox, which I now have a PC, like I finally, at the end of last year was like, this is it. I need to build a PC and mod Skyrim. Like it was this great crowning achievement in my adult life. Like I have money to buy a computer. But before I had the PC, I think I was at like, and this is with like, so before I was into cosplay, like I was playing Skyrim, like 48 hours a weekend. And so then with the cosplay, it's like it trailed off like how much time obviously I had to invest in Skyrim or into Diablo. And, but even with that, I think I have like 1,000 to 1,400 saves in Skyrim, like saves. That, you know what I mean? Like it's like I'll save a new save and it's like 1402 and I'm like, all right, well, just keep. Obviously I've cleaned them up and saved over things, but it's, yeah, I wish I could actually tally up the number of hours because I've deleted a couple characters, but I think at last check it was like 3 months of gameplay.
Wow.
It was a lot.
That is a lot. I think the I've probably come close to like on one video game has either been maybe 100 or 120 hours, but that's going back when my kids were either not here at all or when they were babies. Oh gosh, yeah, no, and that's gonna, you've got to raise them to be proper video game playing, people. So you've got a full-time job with that. I do have to say, I think I probably made a Facebook post about it a few months ago, but they finished their first video game. And I was so proud of them.
What was it?
It was Lego, not Lego Harry Potter. I think it's like Lego Avengers or Lego Marvel, Lego Star Wars is one of those Lego games.
That's awesome. That's great. Good.
And then they got DSs for Christmas, so they've been playing Pokemon and Animal Crossing and getting them in gently. They do Minecraft and a few of the other stuff, and then of course my middle son was like, you know what I'm going to ask for my birthday or Christmas? I want a Nintendo Switch.
Oh boy!
And I was like, oh, okay. Why did he want a Nintendo Switch? Oh, because he said something. I was like, how do you even know about that? Like, it's not like they watch TV with commercials.
Yeah.
But they must have heard it from school, and I was like, okay, you guys are crazy.
Yeah, well, he's got to get into some Zelda,
Yeah, there you go. I was reading a story on Kotaku a couple of days ago about how one of the writer's sons that is like 4 years old took over his Zelda account that he had sunk like hundreds of hours into and wasted like high end arrows and stuff, and he'd like wake up and be like, oh, I have none of my end gear items now.
Oh no. Speaking of childhood video games, did you ever play the Spyro series?
That was, oh man, when did Spyro come out? I was probably in high school at the time that Spyro came out. So I think I probably played it, but I never played like through the series.
Gotcha. So that's another one of my like, I actually had a regular, the first generation PlayStation I was in middle school. When it was actually, I started playing the third Spyro. So that was like my first, I think, like jump into like video games. And of course, again, it was like, oh, it's this dragon, this little purple dragon. I'm going to play this awesome video game. Okay. And that was just a fun series to be into. And I actually I have a PlayStation 2 now with all the old Spyro games, in case I ever want to look at those old graphics again and play
Right.
it.
I know, what's funny is that the other person that is a Slytherin also likes Spyro, the Spyro series.
Well, they know what they're talking about. Okay.
and the big thing was, I think, is E3 when it came and went and they didn't announce like a Spyro remaster.
Yeah.
She's like, what? You're like doing Crash, but you're not doing Spyro.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I heard a rumor about a completely new Spyro game, like so totally new, not like a remaster, but I don't know. Like I don't really follow like news, trends, video game stuff, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that that's true, but I'm not positive.
Well, who knows? I remember when the PlayStation came out and their mascots were basically Crash Bandicoot and Spyro for a while.
Yeah.
But it's all good. So moving on from video games. Another thing that you're into is a card game that's been around again as long as I can remember, because it came out when I was, let's see here, probably a freshman in high school. So yeah, way back in the day, Magic the Gathering, which is still going strong.
It is. It's going very strong.
How did you get into Magic?
Guess.
Your boyfriend.
Yeah, he actually had this old stash of cards and he pulled them out one day. He's like, oh, look, my old Magic cards. And I was like, oh, look, a cool, like, griffin, look, a Pegasus. And I just, like, collected all the creatures. And, that was, he got me into Magic, taught me how to play. It was very frustrating for him at first.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was my first, like, any kind of card game. It was my first, introduction to, like, mana and tapping and attacking and, like, spells, all of that. So, yeah, so I have a couple, like dedicated Magic decks that I've built up over the past, I want to say I've been playing for like 7 years, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So I really he and I we started playing right before the Innistrad block came out. So like in 2012 is when that came out. And we just like fell in love with Innistrad, and that's basically the one set that we've collected. So we were really excited like when Shadows over Innistrad came out last year, and we went to all the pre-releases for those. But yeah, like I have a werewolves deck, so green-red all the way. I also have just like a mono-white human deck. And of course I just have like a black-blue mill just for fun when I just want to, make everybody rip their hair out. And then of course a dragon deck, also green-red, because those are just the best. But yeah, Magic.
Magic, yeah. Like I was playing when it was like 3rd edition, when they didn't even have names for it. And I was like, oh look, it's 3rd edition. And then like the first expansion came out and it was Fallen Empires, I believe. And I was like, oh cool, Fallen Empires, neat things. And then they banned it at school and you couldn't play it anymore. And because it was evil. Right.
Yeah. That was like, I'm pretty sure that we had that phase of like Harry Potter for a while too, where like, some people thought it was you. Oh my God, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's so magical. It's just magical.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people that have that are playing Magic now, and I know a few of them are really excited about like this new series that came out. That's all, I think it's like an Egyptian kind of theme that's going on.
Yeah, it's Amonkhet came out, and I don't remember the second I guess expansion, like the second set came out, and I don't recall what the second portion was, just because I'm not really following like the Amonkhet stuff. Like I go through like phases of like, okay, I'm gonna get into this set and collect the cards, and then give it a year of a break because of the amount of money I put into it.
Right.
But the Amonkhet cards themselves, like I've seen a couple of them, and they're pretty cool. Like all the artwork and stuff is very much like pharaohs and jackals and like crazy like heron head people and stuff. It's neat. So
yeah, that's always the one thing I really loved about Magic, is even if I wasn't playing, or even if I wasn't really interested, the artwork is still amazing on a lot of the cards, and you're like, wow, look at how like that tiny block of art is just so incredibly like detailed, and there are times where I'm like, I wish I could get some of these as just prints, like just frame them and put them up.
You actually can.
What?
Yeah. So like at certain cons, like every year I go to Dragon Con in Atlanta, and they have an artist hall. And a lot of the artists that are there selling prints they do art for Magic the Gathering. So if you like flip through some of their prints that they have on sale, like you'll typically find like a Magic the Gathering thing. And I have this art right here. There's this guy that I love, and he's Todd Lockwood. So he actually did like Dungeons and Dragons art. So I have a bunch of dragons around my office that are his prints.
Ooh.
But he also has a lot of Magic the Gathering prints for sale as well. So check that out because he's amazing. It's Todd Lockwood. I'll say it again.
Todd Lockwood. Say it again. There you go. 3 times is the charm.
Todd Lockwood.
4. We could keep going for another 20 minutes on just Todd Lockwood.
Yeah, I wonder how much money he's gonna make off this. Just Todd Lockwood, hit me up. No, yeah, no, it's really, you can totally buy prints, and yeah, the first time I like found a bunch of them like flipping through at the artist alley at DragonCon, I was like, wow, like Magic the Gathering art.
Right, like that's always cool. Like one of the things that since doing the podcast, I've started like talking to people that do fan art and at conventions and stuff, and it's interesting just to find out like, oh, you've done like comic book work, or you've done like, and you have no idea, and then it's just so amazing that like I can go to these conventions and buy the artwork that I really like, and then I have nowhere to put them up in my house. Oh, yeah. And
exactly. I just have like a stack that I'm like looking for a place to like put. Like I always buy dragon art when I go to Dragon Con every year. It's like my little mini personal tradition. And I think I have like maybe 10 prints that I need to put up somewhere. I just really need to find like a nice frame and, you know, clear some wall space. But yeah, it's okay. It's better to support the artists and get some cool art that you love than to just let it sit there, you know?
Exactly. Like that's my thing, is that we're renting a house and we never ever want to put stuff up, because then, you know, obviously when we're moving, we have to pack it back up and patch the holes, and it's just, I don't know. So all of my cool art is just in one pile in our closet and just waiting for frames.
Oh, yeah. It's okay. You know, it's really easy to patch a hole. I can teach you how to do it. So you should hang up your art. Hang it up.
Now, from video games and Magic, there's one thing that we've talked about throughout the recording so far, and obviously I introduced you as a cosplayer, so you are a cosplayer, obviously.
Yes.
And you're not only a cosplayer, you are an award-winning cosplayer. So how did you get into cosplay? And are you going to say that your boyfriend introduced you to it?
This time it was not my boyfriend. Woo! It's something new. Yeah, so I at the time that I got into cosplay, like I didn't really realize that it was such a big like fandom, such a big like had such a big following of like people that were doing it. But like I'd seen people like dress up. Like I mostly saw, actually, oddly enough, like I would see like steampunk costumes, and I'd be like, "Well, those are really cool. Like they look really neat. Like why are they dressing up like that?" And I was at the time working at a company here in Orlando, and a girl that I worked with, Tracy, who actually is A to Z Cosplay, if you want to look her up on Facebook. I worked with her, and she you know, found out that I played Skyrim, and I would like, she'd be like, "Oh, like look at these cool like, you know, armor things." She's like, "You know, you can just like make your own." And I was like, "What?" And yeah, she introduced me to like the entire world of cosplay, and like really encouraged me to do it. Like I'd always been scared about how much it would cost to make a costume, and you know, having the time, like I didn't want it at the time to eat into my Skyrim playing. You know, I was worried about that. But she encouraged me. Like I was looking up, actually found Vulpin props, like Skyrim Ancient Nord, like helmet and the outfits and weapons and stuff that he had made. And I was just completely blown away. And I was like, that moment that I saw like his Ancient Nord helmet and like the tutorial walkthrough of how he did it, I was like, that's it. Like I need to figure out a way to make this happen. So luckily Tracy knew about like at the time, this like new material that had come out called Warblow, which now is like pretty standard. I feel like used, you know, a lot across with a lot of makers that use it. And Kamui Cosplay and all of her tutorials and everything. So there was this like whole new world, like this door opened up, and I of course had to explore it and find all of the hidden pathways and collect all of the treasures. And yeah, it just like it took off from there for me.
That is I you know, it's hard to believe when, you know, I'm talking about like old school video games and you're like, oh, Warbler, when it just came out, like this new thing. And I'm like, what do you mean it hasn't been around for like ages, like everything else?
Right. Yeah, no, I'm honestly not sure like when it was put on the market. I just know it was relatively new, like when I got into it, which was the end of 2013. I was like looking into how am I going to make this costume? Like that's when I was first starting to like try to figure it out.
Now, how do you go about choosing who you are going to cosplay? Because I always ask all my cosplayer guests this question: if it's based on the character, based on the design of the outfit, or is it a mixture of both?
I think for me, it's usually first the design of the outfit, and then second the character. Like, I'm not going to make a really cool outfit if I also don't like the kind of character that wears it. But like my most recent one that I'm working on currently that I should, fingers crossed, have ready for DragonCon this year is actually a Snow White knight. And Snow White is like not at all like a character that I would typically like think that I'd want to portray, but it's more the sense like I kind of envisioned this armor and I was like, okay, there could be this like really neat knight armor with like apples and leaves and gems like that the dwarves mined up for her, and like the magic mirror could be on it, and I like, had all these ideas and I was like, I need to bring this to life. And I'm like, but I don't want to be Snow White. Like, I don't want to just be like this princess, like, you know, kind of character. I'm always drawn to like a strong female lead, like Daenerys Targaryen or Lagertha from Vikings, like all of those like warrior, like strong women. So I was like, I'm just going to make a knight. I'm going to make a knight. Like, I'll be the knight in shining armor version of Snow White. So, yeah, it's usually a mix, but typically first what appeals to me is the design of the costume or of the armor or of the weapon. So I look to that first and then try to make sure that the character that I'm embodying with that outfit is somebody that I would want to be or want to, you know, be a cosplay of.
Besides your forthcoming or upcoming Snow White armor and the Diablo armor that you had for MegaCon, what are some of the other ones that you have done? So
I only have about, like, I have maybe 4 or 5 cosplays. Like, a lot of them take me, like, the Crusader armor took me, like, on and off 2 years to make. And I've only been cosplaying since I started looking into it at the end of 2013, but I had, like, a bunch of life stuff going on, like, moving houses, like, new jobs and stuff, and didn't start making my first cosplay until, like, June of 2014. So I'm only like in my 3rd year, and the Crusader took me 2 years. So I have the Ancient Nord armor from Skyrim, which is the armor set that the companion, and I can't remember her name, like the lady companion with the bow, Aella? Yes, Aella the Huntress wears. So I have that, and the reason I made that, again, was I saw Volpin-Prop's like helmet version of it, and the helmet is what drew me in, and then the armor just kind of like followed along, so that I was, you know, wearing the same set, and it made sense.
Right.
Yeah, and so that worked out because it was like this strong, like Nord, like, yeah, like warrior, werewolf, you know. So I made that, and then to follow it up, I also made the Rueful Axe prop that I'll always wear, like with the Skyrim outfit that's got the 2 like werewolf heads. Then after that, I started the Crusader, like not until like the following year. And that, again, like it was like I worked on it like summer of 2015 and summer of 2016. So that took a long time. And in between that, I made a Spyro cosplay, actually. So it's like a little like my version of Spyro, if you will. Like purple wig and like purple like alligator skin corset and like purple skirt and like dragon necklace thing. So that was
cool.
Fun too. But yeah, I only have a few under my belt, and I work a full-time job, so it's like a weekend hobby only. So limited hours to work on it, and being a Slytherin, I have to make them all very perfect. So it takes me a long time. Yeah.
Yes, we'll reference Slytherin the entire podcast.
I'm going to. Darn it, I will.
Now, obviously, like you won it was Best in Show, correct? At MegaCon.
Correct. Yeah, this year with the Crusader. So that was crazy.
And that took your 2 years, correct?
Yeah,
You just
so
said 2 years.
yeah, it wasn't like a full 2 years. Like it was like April to September 2015, and then like, oh my goodness, when did I start again? Maybe like April to September again of last year, and then I actually started the shield that I had in the contest. Like I started that this February and finished it in April. So it's definitely over like 500 hours into the costume of actual time. But I couldn't even tell you the exact.
What was the hardest part for doing that costume? Was it just the sheer enormity of everything, or was there a particular portion that like you made, you pulled your hair out on?
Yeah, the shoulders, so the pauldrons, like the big, like black, spiky, crazy things on my shoulders. Those, basically the whole costume, like, I tried a lot of new materials throughout the entire process. So it was kind of like a learning curve with materials, plus like a crazy, blizzard set of armor that has all these intricate pieces and, glowing parts. So I had to do lights, and I'd never done that before. Definitely though, like as a single piece, the shoulders were the hardest to do. They were crazy. Like I think every material that I've ever used in cosplay is on those shoulders. Like there's, I can't even exaggerate. Like there's cardboard, there's EVA foam, there's expanding foam, there's clay, there's like wood filler, there's Warbla, there's like lights, like so wires, lights, like I could go on. Like it's crazy, but I'm happy with how they came out. So
how was it as far as wearing it goes? Like, because obviously it is, you've got like this huge armor on, and I've seen people with like the mech suits, and I've seen people wearing like, the outfits that kind of go a bit crazy or wild. Like I saw someone doing an Overwatch costume. The guy that, no, I think it's the guy with the big hook.
Oh yeah, Roadhog? Is it Roadhog?
Roadhog, and like he had like this just enormous set of like everything. Like there's a big backpack thing, and mask, and how was it as far as wearing the costume?
So it takes me an hour to put the costume on.
with help or just by yourself?
With help.
Okay.
So if that gives you any idea, like it's a lot of it too is like I have to wear the wig, I have to like put this part on first, then put this part on, and then past a certain point I can't reach, other parts of my body to like strap things to myself. But it takes a long time to put on, and then wearing it, like it's not that bad. It's mostly like I just have limited movement, so like I can only like I have to like turn my whole body for the most part, like, and I can't turn my head, but maybe like 45 degrees, to the left or right. Like I've got a pretty limited range of sight. But I mean, it's, I guess it's only like, as far as having it on, it's only slightly uncomfortable. Like I can move around just fine. It's really like reaching my hands to my face. Like picking my arms up. I can't do that. Like I need a straw, like a very long straw. So I think Dragon Con last year, I was drinking my draft beer out of a long straw. Holding it up to my. So I look pretty silly, but it's okay. It's just okay wearing it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Was this the first convention that you entered as far as like a costume contest, or have you done them before?
So the first costume contest I did was actually in 2014. Tracy, who got me into cosplay, again, A to Z cosplay, look her up. She encouraged me to enter the Dragon Con costume contest because she was like, oh, I'm going to enter. Like, you should enter too. Like, let's just do it. Let's enter the novice level and just try it out. And so I was like, heck yeah, like, let's go. So I entered that and I won the novice contest with my first costume. And it was this like, what? Like mind blowing that just happened. It was really cool. So that was the first contest I entered and I won it and it was insane. And I can't believe I did. And I do enter, I think I entered last year at Dragon Con with the Crusader and got like best armor / prop, which was cool. And then, yeah, I entered MegaCon this year and got best in show, which again was like this, what? That's really cool. So I mostly like, I don't know. I enjoy like walking across the stage. It's the Slytherin in me. Just being like, I'm going to walk. Look what I did. I spent 2 years on this costume. You guys should look at it. So yeah, like I like to enter. It's not, it's not like the entire goal of everything that I make. Like I make it so that I get to wear it. That's like
Right.
the reason I like doing it. But yeah, I've entered others. But yeah.
For the costume contest, is it something where you're looking at everybody and you're like, oh, that's your costume? Or are you more like, hey, everyone did such a great job?
Oh, no. Yeah, everybody always does a great job. Like, it's being backstage at the costume contest is honestly another reason, like, why I enter. Like, after doing the first one, it's like being backstage and talking to all the other contestants and being like, oh my God, you look great. And like getting like a chance to get pictures with all of them back there too. And just like asking how they made it. And I feel like the cosplay community in general is really, really supportive. And there's so many amazing people that just want to like ask you how you did things and tell you how they did things and just like knowledge share all the time. It's just another opportunity to like support one another and get to know one another and, you know, make new friends and swap techniques. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like, oh, that's all you have. Like, not at all. Like, always the competition is amazing. So
very cool. Now, I know I had sent you this like pre-show questionnaire type thing, and you had recommended some resources if people were interested in like learning more about cosplay. So if you remember what it was, throw it out there. If not, I can prompt you.
Oh no, I have a lot of resources.
Oh, okay.
So I think my biggest resource and my biggest like initial source of information and inspiration was Kamui Cosplay. So her and her husband Benny do amazing, mind-blowing costumes, usually with Warbler, but they've been getting more into EVA foam and 3D printing recently. So look them up. They have an amazing YouTube channel. There's just a website with her portfolio, and you can buy her books, either printed like soft cover, like actual books that you can hold, or just like a PDF for like $5. Like it's a great deal and a great source of learning. And she actually ramps up like, you know, beginner level to like more intermediate to like more expert, like adding lights and things. So whatever level of, you know, a maker you are, her books are going to help. There's also Punished Props. They're amazing as well. They have foam smithing books, they call them. So they're like the foam smiths. So they make their costumes mostly using EVA foam, which is a much more readily accessible and cheaper material. So again, if you're worried about how much it's going to cost, check out Punished Props and the Foam Smith series. Also, Evil Ted does amazing work with foam. He actually like used to work in Hollywood, like making like props and armor, so he knows what he's doing. Check out his stuff. He's got a great YouTube channel with a lot of helpful videos as well.
Very cool. And I know that you had mentioned a podcast as well.
Oh yes. So there's also Craft and Geek. They have a podcast, so it's Jackie Craft Cosplay and Core Geek Creations. They have this awesome podcast that I listen to every week, along, of course, with Tales from the Fandom. Just throwing that out there. But they have a great podcast that's just like this, like a really open, loose discussion about just cosplay and nerd topics in general. And they have a lot of cool like guest cosplayers that share tips and tricks as well. So check them out.
And that's all, like, you know, I've recorded probably like 70%, maybe 60% of all my guests like do cosplay. And that's always one of the biggest things that they talk about is, number one, the cosplay community, very open for the most part, very welcoming and friendly. If they have time or, you know, anybody has questions, they're like, yeah, I always try to answer anybody's question. Then if I have questions, I go out and ask somebody else. And
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, if you guys have questions, you can hit me up on Facebook too. Happy to help.
So for those who are listening to this podcast episode and want to find you on social media, what are the best places to find you?
So the best place is just right on Facebook. It'll be just Dovah Design on Facebook. You can also check out my website. It probably needs some updating with new pictures, but I have some stuff up there and you can contact me through that as well.
Awesome. Just out of curiosity, Dovah Design, any particular reason for that name?
So Dovah is a dragon in the dragon language in Skyrim. So
I thought I recognized it.
Yeah, it's like Dovahkiin, like so Dragonborn,
Yeah.
but Dovah is just dragon. You could just do Dove as dragonkind. I may or may not take, you know, app phone lessons about how to speak with the dragon language. So. I do. Spoiler alert.
Very cool. And obviously, we'll have those links on the show notes and on our Facebook page. So that way, whoever's listening, if you want to check out the awesome cosplay work that Sam has done or see like upcoming stuff that she's working on, you can click on those and go give her page a like and check out the website and follow her, because she got awesome costumes and it's incredible to just see them like up. Like, I wish I had seen up close, but again, lines.
Well, hey, you're gonna go to Dragon Con, yeah? Take
no,
kids?
no. It's it is expensive enough getting the kids to go to MegaCon.
Oh, I know. Well, I'll be at next MegaCon. It's home con, so I'll be there if you want to set up a time to hang out.
Yeah, I do have to say I was disappointed. I know this podcast will come out way after it's supposed to happen, but they canceled Wizard World again.
What?
And I was like, I wanted to go see some of my people, and then they canceled it, and they're like, oh no, we're just pushing it back another year. It's like, yeah, you did that the year before too, so.
Oh no, well, that stinks. But
you're killing me here.
Yeah, that's all right. It will happen. Positive vibes.
There you go, positivity. But for now, it'll be MegaCon and some of the smaller little conventions.
Yeah, well, I'll be there.
Awesome. Well, everyone, if you come to MegaCon in Orlando, you can take a look for Sam and her probably epic, armor that she'll be wearing, or whatever she has in the plans for next year. Maybe she'll be a giant dragon.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. I'll think about it.
Well, Sam, thank you again for your time today talking with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it is a blast. I really enjoy getting not only to like talk to people, but talk to people that are local, because that's awesome as well.
Yeah, definitely. Again, thanks again for having me. It's really fun.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/talesfromthefandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.